What is up, my nerds? Welcome to Episode 2 of Roll4NerdyCheck Podcast. Zack and I are going to dive into some movie news, like the all-new Avatar 2 movie that's out, DCEU and what direction they're going to take, HBO Max's Last of Us, and if you didn't know, God of War may be coming to Amazon Prime. After that, we'll jump into some game news like Hogwarts Legacy and the new Star Wars game. At the end, I will ask Zack an interesting question. You may have a different opinion, but stay tuned, relax, and enjoy. Stay nerdy, my friends. What's up, my nerds? Episode 2. We're back, man.
Dose. That's right. We're not just a one and done.
Yeah, no one and done. We're not the one-hit wonders, as they like to say in the music biz, but here in podcasting, you know, it's fun. We're going to jump into episode 2. So I was thinking, Zach, we might get into some movie news today.
Yeah, let's do it.
Some good movie news, and then maybe a little bit later we'll get into some game news, and then I have a little special topic at the end if we have time. Okay?
All right. I don't get to know.
No. It's a very interesting thing that's going on. Yeah. So hopping into movie news, one of the big hot movies that's coming out is Avatar 2.
Mm-hmm. It's already out. Came out December 16th.
Yeah. Okay. Avatar 2. I watched the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I might be a minority. I may not, but I didn't like it. I didn't. I thought it was boring. I really did. Now, before we jump in, cinematically, I think it was amazing. CGI for what they did, CGI, I think it was like top tier. Like that was the bar. They set the bar. But I still think the story was boring.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
So I agree with you. I think, first of all, I think it's important to acknowledge that something can be revolutionary, can push the entire industry forward, and still not be that great. There's a Doctor Who quote that I like a lot that is, I'm going to mess it up, but it is something to the degree of like, it is the responsibility of greater men to basically hold the bomb, but it is the privilege of lesser men to light the fuse. So it feels like that here, where it's like, we're going to get hate on this, I'm sure. But because it's one of the highest grossing movies of all time, clearly people disagree with us. However, I think that there was a good, especially for the first one, a good combination of really pushing visuals forward. It was when 3D movies was like at its peak. In fact, I think it caused the peak
I think it was like, I was gonna say, I think 3D was like kind of coming out, and that made 3D like the thing. Like you had to go see it in 3D.
Yeah, it went from movies where it was like a thing goes whoa at you and you're like, whoa, I can touch it, but that was pretty much the extent of it, to being like, you're going to immerse yourself in this experience. And I've been to I've seen the movie, I've been to Disney and done the Avatar ride, which is insanely good. I took a Dramamine because I'm a 30-year-old man, so I get motion sick. It's
okay.
all
Hey,
amazing.
man,
I'm not saying it's not amazing. I agree with you. The first one it's Pocahontas. It is a recycled story as old as time. It's indigenous people have indigenous lands who do their own indigenous things, and then the white man comes and ruins it. Or in this case,
rich man. Well, white rich people.
Rich white man is like, I'm going to assimilate into your culture, and it's like, ugh. And then the military is like, we want what you have, and we're like, bad. So like, I haven't seen the second one. I'll see it, but I'm not going to see it in person, which I feel like is a mistake, because here's the thing. I don't want to pay money to go see it. I don't think the first one was good enough to warrant me going to the movie theater and spending $15. However, I do think that the best experience you can get for it is seeing it in theaters, because that's when you're going to get the really nice projector. You're going to get the, digital. It's going to be a huge screen. You'll be able to really immerse yourself. All of that said, I'll catch it on streaming.
Okay. So say someone were to go to see it in theaters, would you suggest, maybe IMAX and 3D together? Try to get the full-on experience if you're going to make it worth it?
I mean, I've been told by people that IMAX is the way to go. Yeah. But, so I think if you're going to see it in theaters, I would recommend IMAX so that you can get the most out of it. Certainly, if you're going to be paying, you might as well pay the extra couple bucks to see this visual masterpiece in its crispness,
most crispness
in its crispiest form.
Yeah.
So, I would say go see, if you're going to see it in IMAX. I'm not knocking them. If you like the first one, go see the second one. I think it's a lot of the same. I've heard reviews from people who say that it still struggles with the whole white savior complex. Look, we're here to have fun. We've said that a lot on our social medias and stuff like that. Yeah. We like to stay positive because there's a lot of negativity out there, and I think it's important to criticize things and herald things for what they are, good or bad. But I think it's fine. It's not my cup of tea. If it's your cup of tea, go see it.
Okay, I agree, and I think it's probably gonna be that type of movie that's gonna make. I think CGI has kind of taken a step back with movies recently, where they're not as good. And I think now with James Cameron coming out with this movie, the sequel, that he's gonna make that bar again. Like, hey,
he's gonna push that thing forward a little bit.
Yeah, this is what every movie needs to be at. But this is my take on it. The first movie was 2 hours and 40 some minutes. This movie is going to be 3 hours and some. I think 3 hours and like 15 minutes. Is there going to be an intermission in between? Like, are they going to stop at halfway? And I can go get some fresh popcorn and snacks. Yeah, especially for like a 3 hour movie.
Movie, hot take by the Roll for Nerdy Check guys. If your movie passes 3 hours, you give me a 10-minute intermission so I can restock on snacks because I ate that shit before the movie started.
The trailers. It's where I ate it.
Yeah, I'm sitting there, the trailers being like, it's loud now. Can I just go on a mini rant? You know how much I love the mini rants.
Yeah,
so
go ahead, man.
When Black Panther came out, me and my friends, my nerdy group of friends, went and saw it and loved it. It is I know we didn't plan on talking about Panther, but it is a love letter to Chadwick Boseman, to the Black Panther character, to everybody involved, to grief, to processing grief, and realizing that you still have to push forward even when grieving, and the world doesn't stop turning just for you or somebody you cared about who's passed away, but it should. Right. And all of that. Wonderful movie. Wonderful. Can't recommend it enough. There were three particular sad moments in the movie.
Okay.
The person we didn't realize until afterwards. It's like they picked the quietest moments, the most intimate, like grieving moments. I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything like that, but there are some very sad moments in the movie. I'm pretty sure everyone could have figured that out. There's a couple in particular where it is quiet and sad, and it's just this moment of like reflection and grief and gravitas, and the people behind us, like it's like they took their candy wrapper and were going like this. So it was just going. Classic. No joke. There. 5 to 10 minutes at a time. When the movie finally ended, I like got up and turned around because you want to see.
You want to know. You need to put a face to
who this piece of shit is who wouldn't stop ruining the movie experience. They had brought like a Ziploc bag like this big.
Oh,
like a
my
big
God.
home Ziploc bag, and they had like 1,000 of those like fun size candy bars, and they were just reaching their hand in and
no way, dude.
And I guess they had eaten through the majority because they're just digging through the trash trying to find a full wrapper. And they're just.
I was waiting for you to say like they had a tray of like lasagna or something.
No, that would have been quieter. Oh my god. No, so anyway, going back to Avatar. Yeah, not exactly my cup of tea, but I do think it'll push things forward. I think that it's a lot of people have been ragging on special effects lately, and I think that it's important to note that there's I know Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness got some flack for its CGI and its monsters looking.
I think She-Hulk did too a little bit.
She-Hulk did a little bit too, and part of that is just that there's more things going around, especially in the MCU. You know, you've got XYZ projects. You know, back when we used to get one movie a year. Now we've got 5 shows and 6 movies coming out per year. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. But there's also so much stuff that just is CGI, and you have no idea that it's there.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The big bad monster. Yeah, his CGI might be a little bit off. But did you also realize that half of that person's costume is CGI, and you don't know it because it's perfectly done?
Right. Yeah, that's one take. Like you said, we're here to boost things up. We're not supposed to dwell on the negative. Of course, as a podcast, we will dive into a little bit of the negative of things. That's the point of us giving our hot take on it. But I mean, visually, I think it's gonna be great. I mean, I can say the one thing I love the animals in the first movie. They were really cool looking. That was a very cool concept.
Great textures too.
And I think the biggest thing about this time is that I saw a review of the second movie. They shot a lot of it underwater, legit underwater.
Literally underwater. It was Kate Winslet is in the movie, and she set the record for the longest breath hold.
Held her breath for 7 minutes.
By an actor. Yeah, 7 minutes. I think it had been held by Tom Cruise. Correct me if I'm wrong, Internet.
Yeah, Tom Cruise, I think he did it for 6 something for Mission Impossible.
And she was stoked to beat him, and she beat him by a decent margin. A good 30 or 40 seconds.
I heard when they brought her up, she thought she was dead. She's like, am I live? Or she's she didn't know where she was at. It was crazy.
That sounds. I think if I was underwater for 7 minutes, I would also say, "Am I dead?" If you brought me back up.
I can hold my breath for a whopping maybe 40 seconds, so I can't imagine 7 minutes.
I'm like that episode of Friends where he's like, and they're like, "Wow, he's been holding his breath for 9 minutes," and they're like, as soon as they cover his nose, he goes for the breath. That would be me.
Yeah. But all in all. Again, I may go see it. I may not. I don't know. I might be like you and may wait for streaming. But if you're going to go see it, enjoy it. I think I hope it does hit its mark on at least making its money back, if not making a profit.
So I think that was part of the reason that I'm a little lackluster on it. It's weird. So it had a $2 billion budget, give or take. $2 billion budget. So in order to break even, it has to make $2 billion, which is significantly more than the highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah.
I just was like, I don't know if the first movie warranted a price tag that big. I think that they could have brought that down a little bit, made some cuts here or there. Certainly
man, that's where the CGI went, more. Man. That CGI budget.
From what I'm hearing, there's an industry, not rebellion, but people talking about how the effects team, the special effects team, they aren't being paid nearly what they should. They're just working them a lot.
Really?
Yeah, which is a bummer. Man, we're off to we're coasting into negative territory here.
What's sad too is because
that's on me.
The next take, I'm gonna might gripe a little bit. I'm gonna gripe.
Please.
So I'm sorry, guys, if this episode seems a little bit gripey and a little negative.
Welcome to the rant zone.
Yeah. Enough about Avatar. I think it's gonna be a good movie. It may not be my cup of tea, but I might be in the minority, so that's fine.
And I hope you go out and, dear listener, and you enjoy it. Just because I'm not going to enjoy it or might not enjoy it, we want people to go out and have a good time. If you like something we don't like, good for you. I wish I could like everything. In fact, Shane and I had talked about this before. That before we started this podcast, I joked constantly about being like, I want to start a podcast called The Low Bar, because for the most part, I'm very easily entertained, and so if you can't beat that low bar, then you deserve to welcome yourself to the rant zone.
Yeah, and it's the concept of, you know, if you enjoy that, then give me your reasons why you enjoy it, and I might change my mind. Yeah. You might be able to influence me, so we'll check it out.
Absolutely. If you come in and you're like, actually, one of the really cool things about this movie is X, Y, and Z, and here's some history about it that you don't know, and that enhances the storyline, like, that's great. Please convince me.
Yeah. So that being said, Zach. You know how much of a DC fan I am. You know,
you are a little bit of a DC fan, correct?
Yep.
You are a minor Marvel fan.
Yeah,
You are a big
fan.
DC fan.
I'm a big, huge DC fan. I can get down with Marvel, but I'm a huge DC fan. But if there's one thing that it's hard to be a DC fan right now. For a while, actually, it's been hard to be a DC fan for a while.
It's also super hard because the DCEU has been. I mean, we'll get into that. It's been not cohesive, not great.
Yeah.
But DC, in terms of like animated films, DC crushes it. DC is great.
That was one main reasons why I had an HBO Max account, was I could just unload on DC animation, because I think they do so well, and the storylines and what they do with the animation and everything is so good. I love them. I love reading the comic books, graphic novels, everything. Play the games. I'm a Nightwing fan. Number one, Batman is tightly in there. I
it could go either way.
Yeah. And then third, I'm the huge Flash fan. I love the Flash, and he's great. But so my gripe is, James Gunn has decided to not bring Henry Cavill, or just say DC, Warner Brothers has not decided to bring Henry Cavill back as Superman. James Gunn is completely trying to revamp, which I completely understand. He's trying to create a cohesive universe. And there were talks about the Batman, the Robert Pattinson movie. He was talking about bringing that. It was in talks. I think they squashed it, but they were saying that it was going to be a part of the new universe. And I'm glad it was just rumors, because I don't want it to be part of the new universe. I think it's a standalone thing, because especially with them having the Penguin show and Pennywise, and having it's Alfred Pennyworth, and its own thing,
Pennywise
its own
universe.
Yeah. I called myself with that. I was like, wait a minute. I just don't think the Batman needs to be in James Gunn's universe.
Yeah, I don't think it should be. I think that the Batman is tailored specifically to a Batman story, and if you start to, it's always been a little weird. I love Batman. You know, I love Batman. You love who doesn't love Batman? But it's like, even way back in the old like Justice League cartoon show days and everything like that, Batman never quite fits in. And I don't mean in universe, because he also doesn't like being a part of the Justice League. Like, quite often he's like, I am an advisor to the Justice League.
Yeah, he's like, I'm a part-time. Like, I'm part-time as hell, so don't call me.
I'm here to help you guys do what you need to do, and I'll show up and fight some guys if it's like a code red
Brainiac's
situation.
If Brainiac's here, or, you know, Darkseid's here, I'm here. I'm here to save you guys. But
it's hard, because his universe, his story is most of the time at night, most of the time fighting ground level. Mind you, you know, the ground levels in Marvel and the ground levels in DC are one of the greatest things I've ever heard. Is Marvel is humans trying to be gods. Their heroes and their villains are humans trying to be gods. And DC is our gods trying to be human. So Whereas I feel like Batman is one of the exceptions to that rule. He's a human.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's trying to be a god.
Well, yeah, he's rolling with human. Yeah, he's a person at peak human performance, maybe a little above that to stand, I would say, on the spectrum of a superhero. Mm-hmm. But he can also do, with his mind, having such a brilliant mind, he's able to outsmart just the strongest man in the world or the fastest man in the world, or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, Batman is pretty much the high. Batman is the Krillin of the DC universe. He is peak human performance, but that doesn't hold up well when you're fighting literal gods.
Yeah. No hate on Krillin. I love Krillin. He gives it his all. He's amazing. He keeps up with the other Z fighters, so I can't hate. I can't keep up with Goku, so what can I say?
I know. I can't keep up with Yamcha.
Yeah. Who doesn't even fight anymore.
He doesn't even fight anymore, and he would still whip my ass.
Yeah, exactly. Good Wolfang fist to the face, and I'm done, dude. I'm out of here. Yeah. But back to so James Gunn is talking. Yeah, James Gunn's talking about doing a completely whole new universe. I respect it. Coming in, wants to kind of make his mark, kind of wants to just make everything cohesive, because he's kind of used to that from being over at Marvel. So he's like, hey, this is what we need to do. Just go in. But that being said, I feel like the Snyderverse wasn't fully complete yet. There were some things that they could have finished first. Given Henry Cavill his second movie by himself, given Wonder Woman another movie just to kind of finish off, and then finally officially give Ben Affleck, regardless if you like the Batfleck or not, I don't mind him as bad. Give him his own standalone movie as well.
Yeah.
That being said, I can understand why, but I also am a little upset why he doesn't want to.
Yeah, so it's tough, because I think that what James Gunn is doing is entirely necessary, and was what they had been dancing around doing for probably 5, maybe even more years. Certainly pre-pandemic. I would say ever since the Snyder cut Justice League debacle, where it was like, oh, well, we've got 2 Justice Leagues, and this one is significantly better, and we all know it. And the Joss Whedon version isn't as good. It's a little bit. So somebody pointed this out, and I think that this is what holds true to DC, and this is, I hope, where it will lead into a direction that is healthy. But that is that Kevin Feige, who's running the MCU, along with most people who direct and work on and act in these Marvel movies, are fans of the Marvel universe. Kevin Feige's a comic book nerd. Whereas I feel like on the DC side, they didn't have anyone who was like a DC nerd, being like, let me show you what this story could be. And instead, they're just like, insert Hollywood movie, superhero movie, A, B, C, hit the same old cliches, hit the same old, like when they, like, don't get me wrong, Batman has jokes, but in the Justice League movie, I was like, he's very cheesy, and it doesn't feel like he doesn't always have to be like, where are the drugs going, but but at the same time, he was just, I don't know, it just didn't click for me. It just felt like somebody who had been described Batman was like, here's how I can make Batman better.
I think I can see what you're saying. The one thing I can say is that Ben Affleck is an actual superhero fan. He's an actual comic book nerd. So him wanting to direct Batman and him wanting to come in, he's like, look, I know what it takes to make this character good. He gets and they were like, hey, Ben, this is your space. This is our space. We got this. And he's like, okay. And so, like,
well, and he had it in his contract, didn't he, that he got to direct the solo Batman when it came time.
And that's another thing James Gunn was talking about, was they were in talks like, we're gonna have Ben. We're in talks that Ben will direct a movie. We don't know what movie, but his talks that he's going to direct a movie because he had it in the contract that he was going to direct and star in the Batman movie, like single Batman movie that he was starring in. So that's why it was like, all right, let's see what Ben Affleck can do if he's like he doesn't have any like chains on his on him to kind of like freewheel, you know, and do what he wants to do.
Or breathing down his neck, telling him,
yeah.
Well, do you think that's a bit violent? And he's like, it's a movie about a man in a bat suit who beats people up. Of course it's violent.
Yeah. And so, but we never got it. And will we ever get it? I don't know. I think there's still rumor mills going. But how you were saying the Schneiderverse. So I bought the first movie. I went to go see the first movie. And I was like you, how I was like, eh. But then when the Schneider Cut came out, I was like, I actually bought it, and because I wanted to see the differences. And I do like the second version so much better because they hit on major details of the plot that weren't in the first movie. And
to the point where it was like, man, I'm surprised they were able to like hobble together a different movie essentially.
Yeah, like there was like big things that like, you know, Cyborg had more screen time, so you kind of get to feel like him a little bit out.
More screen time.
Yeah,
like his whole story got wiped.
Yeah, Aquaman had a little bit more screen time. Same with the Flash. All the characters really got more screen time, so you got to like actually feel them out. And then when they came together as a team, you're like, okay, is this cohesive? And I liked the only thing I liked in Justice League. We're talking about Batman is that. The humor was kind of lackluster, but the one thing that I did like was that they brought humor to Ben Affleck where he was like, what's your superpower? He's like, I'm rich. Everyone wants to say that's what makes Batman Batman to a point.
He just said it.
Yeah, to a point. I'm sorry. There's more things Batman's good at, but yeah, he's like, I'm rich. Like, I can do this.
Batman's richness, I think this is something that a lot of people get wrong, especially Hollywood executives and producers and whatnot, is Batman's richness allows him to basically enhance all of his other powers. He's ridiculously strong, but most importantly, he's ridiculously smart. So he can learn every form of martial arts, and he's ridiculously strong, and he's ridiculously dexterous, so he can hop around. And then he gets the money, and that allows him the time to do what he wants to do, going out and staying out late, and you know, saving people and doing things.
Yeah, me working at 95, I can tell you after working, I am not going outside to bust someone up. Like, I don't have time for that.
And then, and the gadgets and everything like that enhances it. But the thing is, if you take away Batman's money, he can still be Batman. He just is a little inhibited by.
He'd be a low budget Batman.
Yeah, he's basically Daredevil at that point, except
exactly
not the same powers, but like same level of like street level. Except he's significantly smarter, even though Matt Murdock is extremely smart. He's a lawyer.
Right.
But no, yeah, I think a lot of that takes a backseat, and that's actually one of the reasons I really liked the Batman, is because even though they gave him cool tech, at the end of the day, it was him out-thinking, outsmarting, out-planning, and then the physicality and the money were a backseat to his intelligence, which is, I think, one of the most important things about Batman.
And that's why I love that movie, and hence why I saw it twice, because I just loved it that much, because it brought the forefront of what makes Bruce Wayne and Batman is his genius intellect, him breaking down scenes and understanding things that people don't see. And I think that was just what made it key, which a lot of people skimmed over. They're like, I don't understand it. Like, why is he like this? I'm like, this is what Batman is. Yeah. Like, this is who he is. Like, on a 99% basis, he's on his computer breaking down things and trying to analyze stuff. Yeah.
So here's some things I've heard about the DC, because this is what we do, folks. We go on tangents. So DC, here's what I've heard. They're doing the hard reboot, which I think is crucial. I think it was necessary. I think that they were trying to cut around the infected area instead of just cutting the limb and starting from scratch. So I think that's a hard decision to make, because the problem is when you have like a 50-50 approval rating is that you're going to upset one half either way. Either you're going to keep it alive and you're going to try to reestablish Henry Cavill's Superman and Batman and all of these things, and you're going to try to like rally it, or you're going to hit the hard reboot and be like, hey, it's just not working. We can't even hold a candle to what Marvel's doing right now. And so we have to do something. We have half of our actors in and out. We have stories that have been told and then retold, and people don't understand it. Not to mention they do have the Batman. They have Joker. They have a lot of these like solo films that like I'm cool with those staying in their own universe and doing their own thing. I think that you can do that as much as you want. However, I think for a DCU, they needed to get their stuff together and just restart everything. So here's what I've heard. They're not bringing Henry Cavill back because they hate us. No. Henry Cavill was a wonderful Superman. I love him. Man of Steel is my favorite Superman. I know that people are like so-so on Man of Steel. I think Man of Steel was wonderful.
I loved it. It was a great take.
I did too. I think the Snyder cut of the Justice League was very good. I don't know if I would say it was great, but it was better than anything they've done thus far.
It was better than what they had said before.
And I think the DCEU, which is, I'm going to separate the DCEU as the current DC universe versus the DCU, which is the one they're going to be rebooting. I think the DCEU started on the wrong foot. I think they did a Man of Steel because they wanted to get competing with Marvel, but I think they started with Superman, and then they went into Batman v Superman, which should have been something that was built to, like Civil War was in Marvel, where it's like you got to build up the friction between the two and then have something happen. Otherwise, it's why should I care? These guys have never met before, and now they're fighting, and it's like, and Batman just kind of had all of the things he needed to hold his own against him, and again, Batman's very smart, and I get it, but like for the sake of building dramatic tension, they should have held off on that. And then they went right into Justice League with like Aquaman thrown in here and there, and Wonder Woman was in there, and like but it felt all very disconnected, and then they were shoving everybody in the same place at the same time. And then the Justice League movie was a disaster. The actual one they put out was just very generic, and then they did the Snyder cut, and that was better. But then they were like, but we're not acknowledging the Snyder cut, and it's like, but you just showed me that you could do better, and that there was a cohesive plan in place, and they were like, nah, but we're gonna keep going. And then they just kind of didn't. Oh, you've got Shazam in there. Shazam is great. I don't know if they're gonna keep Shazam going, but that sucks if they have to cut it. But they probably do, because you can't salvage just a couple pieces.
Because he's part of the Snyderverse, technically, because they have Black Adam, and then...
Although Black Adam was not in Shazam at all, or vice versa.
Not yet. He was referenced in Shazam, that there was supposed to be a seventh character, or a seventh seat, and that's supposed to be Black Adam, so he's supposed to be... They're supposed to be linked together. So I don't know what they'll do.
Yeah, The Rock was very anti being part of Shazam, which is a shame, because I think that they would have played better off of each other than teasing Henry Cavill back as Superman just to scrap it 2 weeks later.
Yeah, well, what sucks too, though, is that because Black Adam is Shazam's nemesis, so like...
Yeah, it would be like a Joker movie where it's like, let's just do a Joker standalone movie, and he's got nothing to do with Batman. Oh, wait, they did that, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Okay, hot take for the podcast, because I love giving hot takes. So when Joker came out, the Joaquin Phoenix, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker came out, I didn't want to see it. I didn't. I thought it looked like a typical Scorsese-esque, very good movie, but not a movie about the Joker. I thought it was a movie about a guy who wears clown paint, and like, it was not the Joker, it was just a guy who called himself the Joker and wore Joker paint. And I didn't want to see it, and everyone told me it was amazing. I was like, it's just going to be a really good, really artsy, really well-told story, but not about the Joker. They're gonna call him the Joker, and they're gonna sprinkle in some like Gotham and Wayne family, maybe Bruce Wayne references. That's gonna be it. And everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's amazing! It's so good! You've got to go see. You're a superhero fan, and you gotta go see it, man. You gotta go see it." And I was like, "Okay." And I went and I saw it, and it's exactly what I described. It is a really good movie. It is not a movie about the Joker. It is a movie about a guy who calls himself Joker and wears clown paint and everything like that. It was a really, really good movie. If it had nothing to do with the DC universe and it was just called The Joker and had nothing to do with like the actual DC character, the Joker, I would have given it a 9 out of 10. No questions asked. But because I am a superhero fan and I went in wanting it to be a movie about the Joker, which I was already kind of skeptical about, the Joker without Batman it's like two sides of the same coin and one side is missing. So yeah, I think the Joker movie was good. I enjoyed it for what it is, but I don't think it's a DC movie.
Even bigger hot take, and I'm going to get flack for this. I never seen it.
Well, I just described it to you.
Okay.
It's a really good movie about a guy who's got very serious mental health problems and is bullied a lot. And
I've seen a lot of reviews on it. It's just, I don't know.
It's great.
Maybe one day I'll watch it.
It's really great. Go in the opposite the way I went in. Don't expect it to be a DC movie. Don't expect it to be a superhero flick. Expect it to be a story about a guy who's got very bad mental health issues and is crazy and takes it out on people.
Okay. Well, so this being said, I am really excited for DC to have a reboot. I want James Gunn to come in and make it all cohesive because I really want to. Me being a DC fan, I don't want to be hated on by Marvel fans anymore. Really, I want to be. I don't know. I'm not ashamed to be a DC fan. It's just like I just want to be proud even more to be a DC fan. So I want James Gunn to come in with his ideas and make it great. That being said, I think we're gonna get out of the segment of being negative. I think we're gonna go into more exciting news. Okay. Yeah. So, I don't know if you watch a lot of Amazon Prime or not. If you do,
yeah. The Boys. I love The Boys.
Okay, Boys. But God of War is having a TV show. They're taking.
Did they officially announce that?
I think they did officially announce it. Yeah, from what I've read, is that
at very least they're circling it very hard.
Yeah, like I don't think they have come out and shown commercials or anything of it yet, but they're in strong talks. Strong talks that it is happening. That they're gonna do a God of War. They're taking away from the video games. They're bringing it to the big, the blue screen of the TV, and it's going to actually follow God of War 4 and 5 of Ragnarok. It's supposed to be within that realm, so it's kind of like canon, I guess, to the games.
That's awesome. And I think I might have been talking to maybe it was you or maybe someone else, but the voice actor who voices Kratos is Christopher Judge. Yes, Christopher Judge. He is a tremendous actor. I don't know if you've seen it, but I recommend to anybody who's listening, go out. There's some videos of him doing the mocap for the game. They should just cast him as Kratos. If you haven't seen Christopher Judge with your own two eyes, the man's a beast. He's
huge. He is huge. He has the height. He has the build. Dude, you throw some war paint on that man, he's already got the voice. He voices the guy. So
absolutely, you've got the voice down. You've got the acting down.
Mm-hmm.
That
you
seems
throw some
pretty
war
cut
paint
and dry
on
to
him.
me.
He is Kratos all the way.
The way.
So I'm really excited for that. I think them bringing it into the cinematic world will be very, very fun because, I mean, they can go so many ways with Kratos. I mean, look at what they did with The Witcher on Netflix, how strong that is, especially with Henry Cavill playing Witcher.
And in like 11 days, we've got. It's not on Prime. It's going to be on HBO. But The Last of Us is going to be there too.
Yeah.
It's got. Why can't I think of his name from Star Wars and? Pedro Pascal. Is that who it is?
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It looks phenomenal. It looks ridiculously good. And as somebody who's a huge Last of Us fan, I'm very excited because it's going to be a series, not a movie. And I think series is going to be the future of. I think they're hurting for content, and they're going to start delving into video games soon, and hopefully revisiting some book series, Harry Potter, and start doing them as series instead, so that you can get more as like get more story development out of it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's such a smart way to do it, because I love movies. I love sitting down watching a good 2-hour movie, but there's something different about binging a show, like just being able, like, hey, turn on the next episode. Let's go to the next episode. Let's go to the next episode. Because like you just get locked in, because you can throw in more detail. You can focus on the actual story. Instead of cramming in so much detail in 2 hours, you're like, hey, we have 3 seasons. So we don't have to rush with this.
Yeah.
We can just cruise.
For forever, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I love the movies. I think they all did a wonderful job. I think most people in that movie were cast really well. Daniel Radcliffe is a fantastic Harry Potter and just a great actor overall. Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, all of those people are tremendous actors. Tremendous. But I think that you are taking something that rightfully needs more time to develop and doing that. So I think that they should and there are rumors floating around and that I'm very excited about that are Harry Potter as a series where like each chapter, give or take, is an episode. So so you get the first season will be 20, maybe not 20 episodes. They'll probably consolidate it down to a crisp 10 to 15, but it's Harry Potter. I mean, you can throw all the money you want at it.
So like each book will be a season essentially?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe as you get into the bigger books, you split them a little bit, like they did with the final one. But yeah, I think that is a really good storytelling platform for like books, is to do series rather than movies, because you're trying to cram an entire book into 2 hours. You're gonna have to cut out some of the goodies. Like the best stuff is sitting on the cutting room floor.
And to be fair, like with you being more of the Harry Potter nerd, I didn't read the books fully through, and going in just watching the movies, there were things that I just didn't understand because they had to skim over a lot of the important stuff. So
and especially by I'm going to say the fourth book is where it really starts to lose stuff. There's a lot of like I said, especially after the fourth, there's a lot of just kind of like hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's Harry Potter. You've read the books, so we're gonna skip over this, or we're gonna, instead of going A to B to C, we're just gonna go AC. And you guys kind of the B plot, and it's like that's a dangerous way to go about telling a story. And so for me, I can enjoy it because I can fill in the gaps myself. But I think it would be better if I didn't have to. It would be better if other people who hadn't read it have a more accessible story. Yeah.
And I agree. So if the rumor mill is true, I would be really excited for a Harry Potter series.
Me too.
Going back to The Last of Us, seeing the overall commercials for it, seeing the clickers, how detailed they are, and like making that sound. That sound will. Oh my god, it creeps me out because I hated playing the game and just hearing that, and I just like freeze. I'm like, don't move, Joel, don't move.
It like sends shivers up your spines. Like to this day, there was a commercial for it on the other day, and I was like in the kitchen getting water, and I just heard the like, and I was like, like I've got like water in my hand for me and my wife, and I'm like, what is that? And she's like, oh, The Last of Us is coming out. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, it's straight up PTSD of of me playing the game and hearing a clicker and then looking at my guns and I'm like, oh my god, I only have 2 bullets. I'm screwed.
Because getting ammo in that game was so hard, and you're like, okay, I've got 3 bullets and I can count 8 of these guys.
Yeah,
including one of the fat ones.
Yeah, I was like, maybe I should have snuck up on those 2 dudes I killed instead of wasting my ammo and missing half.
Oh yeah, I started that game like a Wild Wild West game. I was like, bam, 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 die, and then 20 minutes into it, I'm like, okay, there are a lot of zombies, and I was like, where's like the random ammo drops? And it's like, nah, man, you got to take them out of guns and people you kill. And I was like, oh, well,
time to put this game down. Yeah. So I'm excited for Last of Us. I love to stream the first episode. I can't wait for it to come out, and I can't wait for if they are doing a God of War. I cannot wait for them to see a trailer of that because that's gonna be really, really cool.
It's gonna be so good.
Did you have any other movie news? Because if not, we could hop right into games.
No, we pretty much coasted on DC. From everything I've heard on DC, they are Henry Cavill's out. Wonder Woman might not even be part of the first wave of DC stuff, which is a bummer because she was part of Wonder Woman was probably one of the best parts of the DCEU. Ironically, the thing I heard is that they might keep Ezra Miller as the Flash, which he's had a lot of controversies and a lot of bad PR in the last year. I'm not sure why he would be the thing that you would keep as a linchpin.
Other than maybe doing a Flashpoint movie.
Not to. Here's how I would fix this. Do a Flashpoint because that's what they're doing. I think it's this year they're doing their Flashpoint movie. Have some Flashpoint fuckery and make his face change, and then bring in Grant Gustin from the Flash show and have him be the Flash. Because if he wants to, because he has held up the mantle of Flash for 10 years now, and he's wonderful. He will forever be my Flash.
Yeah, he's a good Flash. I see him as the Flash because obviously the first take of the Flash we ever got was the show on the CW. So he's the Flash in my book, so I could see that.
Yeah, and they even had, I don't know if you know this, they did a crossover thing.
Yeah, I saw that when they
did the Crisis on Infinite Earths storyline, and they kind of merged all the Earths into one. One of the last little teasers was Ezra Miller's Flash came into the show for 2 minutes. So it's not outside of the realm of possibility to just be my face changed to be like that other Flash I saw. Move forward.
Two hot takes, and then we'll move on to some game news. They were talking. I don't know. I didn't deep dive into the article, but it's apparently how we were talking about a contract. Ben Affleck having a contract with DC, Warner Brothers. Apparently, it's Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, and Ben Affleck may be suing Warner Brothers.
Oh, that's right. I did hear about that. That they
because
were basically
of contract infringements. Yeah.
Yeah. So justified, in my opinion,
because Henry Cavill lost. He lost. Well, okay. Let's just not say he stepped away from Witcher because of Superman. He had conflict of. He may have writing conflict of interest with the show. They were going a different route than he wanted to take. So he was like, I kind of want to step away. I'm going to go back to DC. I have a Superman movie. And then they were like, hey, we're not doing another Superman movie.
No, you don't.
With you. And he's like, oh, well.
Well, and someone pointed out that retroactively, too. I mean, how many projects did they not take because they had an obligation to be available for 3 to 6 months a year for superhero stuff?
And that's what I think what I read in the article was they're kind of suing for things that they could have taken as actors and actresses, but didn't because they were obligated to set aside time for DC.
If they say we're going to put you in X movie, 7 movies, three cameo appearances, and something, and then you're not taking things because you might have a Superman obligation, or you can't do this because you're doing reshoots or whatever the case may be. And then on top of that, you didn't fulfill your 5-movie quota. Now I said that I would do these 5 movies and that you would pay me X amount of dollars, and now you're cutting that short, and so I'm shortchanged now. So I don't disagree with it.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see if this actually goes through and what's going to happen. But I think it's kind of messed up what executives will do to these actors and actresses. It's pretty much holding them up and not letting them be free. I mean, I think Henry Cavill kind of like he kind of turned the cheek a little bit because now he's in a project Warhammer 40K.
40K, yeah.
Yeah,
which is, he's like a huge Warhammer fan, and so I'm very happy for him for that, because that's awesome.
I think he's like whatever. I have this project now.
He's like, look, I have a very like a new passion project. So not to say he couldn't have been Superman and Geralt and whoever he's playing in Warhammer. I don't know anything about Warhammer. I'm sorry, nerds.
I don't either. Actually, I did hear this though. I don't know if it's true. DC lost Henry Cavill, and now I think Marvel's picking him up for Captain Britain. I think they're talking about making him Captain Britain.
I've said for a while now, back when his status was like pre-Black Adam post-credit scene cameo, I think that they should scoop him up and make him Doctor Doom. I think he would be a fantastic Doctor Doom. Make him like the big bad of... Like, I know they're doing the Kang the Conqueror arc right now, but like either bring him in or introduce him in the next few years as Doctor Doom. I know the Fantastic Four movie is coming out soon-ish, I think.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. I think it's too late to bring him in as Doom unless they didn't put Doom in that movie, which they shouldn't because they put him in the last 2. But I think he would make a great Doctor Doom. He would also make a great like Magneto, Wolverine.
Ooh, Wolverine.
He would make a really good Wolverine, wouldn't he?
I think that'd be interesting.
The only problem with that is Hugh Jackman is Wolverine.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a rumor. It might be just a rumor, but and I don't know much about Captain Britain, but I think him kind of as like a British Steve Rogers would be kind of interesting because he has that style
American
about him,
that Superman Boy Scout mentality, but he also did it in a way that didn't feel cheesy.
Yeah. Well, I think it's enough movie news because we're just getting into speculation now. I think we'll dive into something that you'll love to talk about, and we'll talk about the Harry Potter game, game that's coming out.
Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah. So
coming out February 10th on Xbox, PlayStation 5, and computer PC. Will be coming out, I think, in April for the PS4 and like July for the Switch.
So are you waiting in line to get it? Or are you downloading it?
I haven't yet, but I am very close to requesting time off work so that I can play that game. It comes out on a Friday, and I'm like, I can take Friday and Monday off. Only spend 2 days doing it, like 2 PTO days, and still get like 4 days straight playing the game. So I might do that soon. It looks so good. It is everything a Harry Potter fan, as a lifelong Harry Potter fan and a hugely dedicated Harry Potter fan. It looks like everything I want in a video game for a Harry Potter game plus more.
What are your top? Okay, I don't want to narrow it down to 3, but like, let's just say your top 3 things of the game that makes you like giddy about
it. In no particular order. 1 is that everything design wise looks like it is done. Well, first of all, before I even get this is more of an overarching. Everything about this game looks like it has been done by Harry Potter fans. People who have read the books, who love the books, love the movies, love the universe. And I think, as we said earlier, I think it's important to have fans creating content for other fans, because when you get too much producer stuff, it can just be, it's very easy to just not to be detached, and so the fans don't quite get their their itch scratched. So number one, the castle, especially the castle and the surrounding areas, look fantastic. They have the staircases that move, but in a way that doesn't make it feel fake or artificial. You can use spells to like whip the bridge and pull it towards you. The castle itself is a huge, massive castle. It like the movies are good, but there are definitely this spot, and there's not as much transition between the two. And I understand that's just part of movie telling, and especially like we were talking about earlier, you're condensed for time. You're not going to have a scene where you're like walking through the hallways that often. However, every detail of this game looks perfect. Like, of what I imagined Hogwarts, they beat it. Like, I had an image of what was Hogwarts in my head, and a lot of that is influenced by the movies, and this looks like they painted straight from the book.
The graphics look amazing.
Graphics look amazing. Design looks amazing. They're doing little hamlets and stuff outside of the school, so you can explore that town. This is like before the magical community kind of like shuts itself in, I think. It just looks amazing. One of the other things, you can ride a broom, ride a thestral, ride a basically you have like 5 or 6 different mounts of things. It's not a Gryffindor. Why can't I think of it? Hippogriff. You can ride a hippogriff, and they all have different flying styles, which is really cool. So you can just literally be like, poof. Customization in this game looks insane.
That's what was my favorite thing that I saw was the customization. I was like, I think that's like 99% of what people want out of RPGs is being able to customize it to your own liking. And
Absolutely.
I think they hit it pretty perfectly.
Your character, your environment, your outfit, your room, your all of those things you can change in this game. You can design your character. They have like the room of requirement is like your personal space in this game, and you can literally just be like, I want this to be purple and circular instead of square now, and it can do that. You can change the roof overhead. You can change all of that. The common rooms, this goes into the first thing, but the common rooms look insanely good. I'm going to play this game through for each of the different houses just so that I can play through each of the different.
I've seen them through reviews of what they were just doing, like the betas and stuff like that. And they all the common rooms stick close to what a house, like the house rooms would be, I think. They look so cool.
How they're described in the books. That's the only one that wasn't described is the Hufflepuff common room, which was described later by J.K. Rowling on like Pottermore. And she had said, I intended Harry to go into each of the Hogwarts common rooms at one point or another throughout the series. He got to 3 out of 4. She was like, I just couldn't figure out a reason to get him into the Hufflepuff common room. By the time I decided I wanted that to be a thing, it just didn't fit with any of the stories. And then I think the last thing that really amps me up about it is I think that the fighting style, the like combat, is going to be good. I think it's going to be, if you've played Guardians of the Galaxy, I think it's going to be similar to that, where you've kind of got like a quick button, like a quick pad, like A, B, X, Y, whatever. They all do different things, and then you can tap R and it brings up a whole new quick pad, and those are your like spells and everything. I think those will be fine, but they do have skill trees, and I'm really excited to see how the skill trees play out, whether there's going to be a charisma option, whether there's going to be things that you can unlock, upgrades you can get to your weapons, to your spells, to whatever as you play through. I think this game looks like Harry Potter and Elder Scrolls had a baby, which is a very good compliment.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I think the whole being able to duel and spells, it was very I thought unique. I think it will be kind of like the same battle style as probably what I would consider it. Kind of how I know you haven't played it, but Star Wars, the Fallen Jedi game was, where you had a skill tree, you had like a light attack or a heavy attack with the lightsaber, but if you pressed R2, or if you're using Xbox RB, it brought up a whole menu of different controls or like skills he could do. Certain buttons had force attacks and stuff like that. So I think they might have the same type of mechanics, assuming. But me not being, I'm a Harry Potter fan, but to an extent, I'm really excited for this game because I love a good RPG, especially with customization and being able to just run through a universe and kind of do what you want to do, but also follow a storyline. So I'm really excited for this game, and I definitely will be spending some time playing it.
Yeah, I think one of the things about it in general that just excites me, not about the game specifically, it kind of is, but the creators of this game look like I love Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. You know it, I know it. I don't have to defend it to people. I have a tattoo that is the course of my arm that shows it, but there are... The world building in Harry Potter is flimsy. The story is great. The connections, the characters, the motivations, those are all wonderful. The world building is flimsy. It, like, Hogwarts, I think there's a lot of reason that they stay exclusively in Hogwarts for the majority of it, because it's easier to do that than to explain, like, well, why don't wizards just do this? Or this doesn't make sense. This would destroy the economy, or like things like that. I think that this game is going to fix a lot of that. I think that they have thought through, how do we take this point and this point that don't make sense individually and tie them together to make it cohesive and make the world building smarter, and have the characters, the NPCs, drop things like, oh, well, the reason that we never blah 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 is because muggles blah blah blah. It's like, oh, that was never explained in the books or the movies. That makes sense. And I think they're going to do a lot of world building for this universe in a way that Harry Potter hasn't gotten yet, because Lord knows Cursed Child didn't do it. Lord knows that the Fantastic Beasts movies, the Fantastic Beasts first movie, fantastic. Love it. Everything else, it's garbage. I wanted to love it so badly, and it's just bad. And it sucks as a Harry Potter fan to not have any new content to really grab onto. And so this looks like the kind of content that I have been waiting for years, if not decades.
I mean, that was like me. That's like me as a Lord of the Rings fan. I love the trilogy, the extended cut, and everything. But when The Hobbit came out, I had high expectations for it. I was so excited because Peter Jackson, was back. Yeah, and he was taking over The Hobbit, and I was really excited. But it kind of had lackluster. You know, it was kind of, it didn't have that feel that that Lord of the Rings had. So I can get that with how you felt with Fantastic Beasts. I think one thing that's smart that they did with Legacy was that they took it back before all this stuff with Harry Potter, like Harry and Voldemort. They kind of put it in the 19th century, I think, right?
The Harry and Voldemort was like 90s, like 80s, 90s.
Yeah, 80s, 90s. But the game itself is set in like the 19th century. Am I right?
I think this is like the 17th or 18th century, if I'm correct. So they definitely distanced themselves. They were like, look, you're not going to see anybody you know.
Yeah. So like you don't even have Dumbledore. You don't have any of them. Like you're in a whole different world. It is Harry Potter. You have the overarching arc of Hogwarts, the learning, spells, brooms, and everything. But you will not. It's not like they're not trying to make it like in the canon world, so they don't have to like, build that in there.
Right. They don't have to play by anyone else's rules outside of the like world that has been established, which, as I mentioned, is flimsy, so they can build on it pretty well. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited for the Hogwarts Legacy, but I'm also along with Hogwarts Legacy is coming out, the Star Wars, the new Star Wars game is coming out. I've played Fallen Jedi, I think like 3 times and beaten it 3 times. So the new Star Wars coming out is Star Wars, I think it's Jedi Fallen Order. Is this what it's called? There was a Star Wars game that came out like, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. That one. No, I'm sorry. The first game was called Fallen Order. The second game coming out is Jedi Survivor, is what it's called. So
what was the game that had the like clone guy who would like take the sword and he would like hold it back?
Oh, that was Star Wars. Oh my god.
I'm putting you to the test.
Unleashed. Star Wars Unleashed.
Okay.
Yeah. And that had to do with that doesn't have to do with this game at all.
Okay.
The main character, his name is Cal. He starts off as like a young Padawan essentially, who forgets his Jedi training essentially before, like, while the Purge happened. So you know what the Purge is, like when the clones turned on the Jedi and like killed them all.
Oh, I thought that was when what's his face killed all the younglings.
Yeah, yep, it's the same time. So
okay.
All the Jedi were essentially on different planets because they were fighting the Clone Wars essentially against the droids and the Separatist fleet. So they're all doing their own missions and stuff like that. And then Palpatine, who's the Emperor, decides to... He pretty much had all the clones, when they were made, had them pretty much brainwashed to commit a genocide, essentially, on the Jedi. So it's called Order 66. So during the Purge is what they call it, Order 66, like, essentially, you see throughout the game, like, he's starting to learn his skills again. Like, he just pretty much, he's so traumatized from when he was a kid that he forgets everything. So as you're going through the game, he goes through, like, these side... not kind of like little side quests, but they're like missed memories that he has. That he's like, hey, remember when Master taught you this, and you're able to like wall jump and like run on walls and stuff like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I remember. Thank you, Master.
Thanks, tutorial. I do remember.
Yeah,
that now.
yeah. So this game, after everything, he learns at the end of the game, he learns all his Jedi skills again, and he just becomes a official Jedi Knight. And now in the new game, he's like grown up. So I'm assuming he might either be, a Jedi Master at this point, because from what I've seen in the new game, like, he's much older and you have a completely different skill tree. So you not only what you built up in the old game, you still know how to do, but there's like a completely different one now, and you can do completely different things. So instead of having just a single lightsaber and they can do into a Darth Maul dual saber type thing, he can split them apart and have like the Anakin style like dual sabers. So I thought that was like, I was like, oh my god, I really want to do that. Like, that's really cool. You actually get to like do different side missions, have different overarching things that is going to happen, and I'm just really excited about a completely new story for Cal. Because I think what they're doing with Star Wars franchises, at least with the game, is really, really good and well done. And I highly recommend you play.
They should do like a three game arc where it's kind of like the Luke Skywalker arc that I think was in the books that ended up getting like retconned in the movies, but where it's like he starts as a Jedi, then he trains with the Sith. Like he dabbles in the Sith in like the second game, and then the third game is he's true balance, which is he's neither Jedi nor Sith. He has accepted both, and as a result has true power because he's not. I think the point of some of Star Wars, again, Star Wars is in my blind spot, so be forgiving, internet. Is that like the Jedi are also wrong? Like, the Sith are wrong, and the Jedi are wrong. But the Jedi are the good guys, and the Sith are the bad guys. The Sith are obvious bad guys, but the Jedi aren't helping people either. Like, they do help, but also, like, it is very toxic, the culture within the Jedi community, and it's like both needed to be torn down and started over. So I think it would be cool to have a character who starts as a Jedi, learns some Sith stuff, and then finds true balance in the third game.
Yeah, and I think that's essentially what Cal is, essentially. He starts off as a Padawan. He's learning the way of the Force, but he's still not, like, he's young when the Purge happens. So when he loses the connection to the Force, he's just a normal guy, essentially. So then when he starts to kind of dabble with the Force again, he struggles with balancing between... He's good, like you said, like, he's good, but then he still deals with the anger of all the stuff that's happened to him. So he's in between. But then towards the end of the game, he kind of like he bridges the gap where he can dabble with the dark side a little bit, but dabble with the good, like the Force pretty well, to where he's more well balanced. So I see what you're saying. He's not like one of them. He's not like a monk Jedi where he's like, there's only the way, there's only this way. He's really just more of like a hero arcing type person, where he's just more well balanced, is what I'm trying to say, essentially.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but if you haven't played it out there, I highly recommend playing the first one. It holds up still, before you play the second one, so you actually understand what's going on. But the game's not gonna let you down, essentially. So that's all the game news I really have.
Cool.
This is not really. We're running in about an hour and 9 minutes, so we can hop into something real quick. I wanted to talk to you about this. Yes, I did. So this question's been going around, and I wanted to get your hot take on it because it's really funny, and I want to hear your answer. So the question is, you're in a shopping mall for 24 hours, okay? Yeah. You're locked in a shopping mall for 24 hours. Would you choose to be locked in with a gorilla or 5 Black Mamba Snakes?
Oh, man. There's so many pros and cons to each. All right,
I know. That's what's funny.
Let me podcast properly and actually run through what I'm thinking out loud rather than just sitting here and being like...
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have the gorilla,
mm-hmm.
you can probably keep track of that gorilla fairly easily.
Okay.
Gorillas are pretty strong, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So
an average gorilla. Sorry, I'm gonna give you some specs. Average gorilla is about 5'1". 5'1".
Okay. Shorter,
but super jacked. Super jacked.
But yeah,
obviously. They can run. They can move.
Like,
they can move. Well, they're not monkeys. They're apes. I'm sorry. I don't want no hate.
Thank you.
They can move at a speed of 20 miles per hour.
That's
so
they be
than
me.
That's pretty fast. That's pretty fast.
For an animal that like around, like they don't give a what. Oh, I guess I can cuss. I've cussed already. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So Black Mambas can grow as big as 14 foot.
Oh.
And they move, and they're actually one of the most deadly snakes in the animal kingdom.
Yeah, that I knew.
And they actually chase people.
That I did not know.
Yeah, they actually are the one. They are one of the only snakes in the animal kingdom that actually chase after people. Also, let me see. So 14 foot, and they have the top speed, I think, of 10 miles per hour. So that being said, you have the specs. What are you choosing?
Gut instinct.
Yeah.
Gorilla.
Okay. Interesting take.
So,
because
and before I move on and give whys and whatnot, I need everyone. Look at me, internet. I need everyone to know monkeys. I know it's an ape. Monkeys freak me out. Monkeys disturb me because they will eat your face. They'll eat your face, and there are lots of stories about that. And I'm good. If I go to the zoo or whatever, I skip the monkeys. It freaks me out. It gives me like the uncanny valley. So you've gotten a gorilla who's like a Super Saiyan monkey,
right?
With an attitude problem, and I'll still take that over the Black Mambas, especially knowing that they chase humans. If they just like did their own... Okay, so here's the thing. Like I said, you can keep track of a gorilla fairly easily.
Why do you think that?
Because I mean, I'm assuming the mall is well lit, and I think that the odds of running into the gorilla are slim. And if I do, I'm probably pretty dead. But at least there are stories of gorillas who are like chill. You know what I mean? There are gorillas who are like, look, just don't come over here and we'll be cool. Don't make eye contact. I know you don't make eye contact with them.
Man. They're pretty territorial.
So you stay on your side of the mall, and for 24 hours, right?
24 hours,
yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure that if I was locked in a mall with a gorilla, that I could easily find like a closet or an assistant manager's office.
You don't think a gorilla could beat down a closet?
Oh, 100% he could. But what are the odds he's going to go looking for me? Because I don't think the gorilla's like, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Hey, are you back there? No, he's going to find the food court and like the water fountain, and he's going to be on cloud nine.
The water fountain.
And, like, not like the one you like sip from, but the one that like, shoots water in. And he's just going to be chilling, living his best gorilla life. Snakes, especially human chasing snakes. There's 14 of them, you said?
No, 5. Just 5.
5. Either way. That's too many. It can cover too much ground.
Mm-hmm.
I think that snakes, and they can slip under stuff. They'll slide under the door. They'll get into the vents and then drop down. And no, I'll take the gorilla because I think we could just have a mutual understanding to stay out of each other's way. Whereas I think snakes will just try to kill me.
You want to know my answer?
I absolutely want to know your answer.
I'm choosing the damn gorilla too.
Hell yeah.
Because, reason being, I am deathly terrified of snakes. I do not like them. Dude, I do not like them. I didn't know that. I am terrified. I am petrified of snakes, dude. I don't know why. I just do not like them. They creep me out.
It's probably your real good instincts, your human instincts being like, hey, that's going to kill you.
Like you were saying, black mambas, it could grow up to 14 foot. So you imagine 5 14-foot snakes. Those are big damn snakes. And they can slither up on things, get into things. So no matter where you hide, and there's 5 of them. There's 5.
Like, real talk. Do you think a gorilla, if you like Home Alone the stairs, the regular stairs in a mall, do you think a gorilla could get up the escalator if it was moving? I think it would be like, I don't want any part of that. A snake will just be there, and you're like, how did you get here? And the snake's like, I'm going to kill you. And you're like, yeah, that's fair.
Is there any zoologists out there who want to come on the podcast
and let us know how wrong
let us know how wrong we are? Then please let me know. But
actually, gorillas are known to use elevators. They're very good with the buttons.
I mean, okay, look, like I said, I'm definitely terrified of snakes, and like 14-foot fucking killers chasing after me is a no-go for me. A gorilla, which could maul me and destroy me in 2 seconds, at least can keep an eye on it. Like, I can see a giant thing somewhere. Right. And I'm like, okay, he's over there. I don't want to be over there because he's making a bunch of noise. Whereas a snake's not going to make noise. He's just going to sneak up on your ass and bite you, and you're dead.
Here's another thing. I think that gorillas, I know nothing about them. So again, this isn't where I thought Nerdy Check was going to go. But
I know. I'm sorry. I had to throw this out there.
No, I love it. I think gorillas, are. This is gonna probably be wrong. I think they're like dogs. I think they would sleep the majority of the day.
No.
I don't think gorillas are very active. I think they have a lot of meat on them, and they need a lot of energy.
I'm sorry. I think in the jungle they're fucking.
You don't think gorillas just like chill in the trees and shit?
They do in spurts because they always keep it moving because I think because they got predators on their ass all the time. You know, they got jaguars and leopards and shit trying to kill them.
Okay, gorillas, this is according to Google. This is from the gorillafund.org. So, gorillas usually start making their nest an hour before the sun sets in time to be in bed by dark. That's adorable. They stay in their nest in the entire night just like people. However, they tend to sleep about 12 hours each night. So, you could get half of that 24-hour trapped period with him just snoozing.
Also,
Snakes are born of the devil and will just stay awake forever.
Dude, yeah, I agree.
Especially if there's 5 of them, they'll take shifts.
If there's an Annie Ann's pretzel shop, I just give him some fucking pretzels and he might become my best friend.
For sure. In the context of this scenario, you said you're trapped in the mall. You did not say like an empty, abandoned mall. Yeah. So like, I'm just going to assume that everybody was open for business and then they ran out of the mall because a gorilla came in and my dumbass got caught in there and they were like, well, sorry, Zach, click. And you're stuck in there.
You're on the shitter.
So like,
you're on the shitter taking a dump.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, gung, gung, gung. And I'm like, occupied, jerk. Yeah, that means that there's food. I could toss him a Nintendo Switch and be like, here, bro, just trust me. You're going to have a good time. Play Donkey Kong. You'll love it.
Oh, my God. Yeah, okay, you made the right... Okay, in my book, that's the right answer. I've heard some other people say that they would choose snakes because they're like, I can kill snakes easy. I'm like, okay, sure. Okay.
So I've got one for you that I just kind of know off the top of my head, although I'm sure I'll probably get the details wrong. But the question that goes around the community, the nerd community right now, is something to the degree of, would you rather have to fight one human-sized chicken once a year, or would you rather fight, I think, 5 normal chickens every time you get in your car?
Okay. So
you either fight one human-sized chicken once a year, or 4 normal chickens every time you get in your car.
Okay. And okay.
I'm sure I'm messing that up to a degree, and that somebody somewhere is listening and rolling their eyes. But the question stands.
My answer, and in my opinion, there's only one right answer, is I'm fighting the 5 normal-sized chickens. That being said, because a chicken within itself, if it's a human-sized chicken, will kill you. It will peck your brain out and will claw. It will disembowel you with its claws.
Okay.
Oh my God!
May I?
Sure. You're wrong, but okay.
I would like to fight the human-sized chicken once a year. Because every time you get in your chickens are aggressive.
Do you get it? Okay, hold on. Do you get a weapon, or are you fighting bare knuckle style?
I don't know. These rules have not been defined, so bring some creativity to it.
I mean, that's a completely different question. I mean, if I got a sword or a gun, then sure, I'm taking the human-sized one.
I will give you...
If I'm bare knuckling it... If you're going fist to fist, you are not taking out that. Okay, what size human you talking about? Like average height, like a 5'8", like he's tall as me, 5'8"?
Sure.
Yeah, no, dude, no. Dude, one strike with a leg, because they love to flap and kick.
Yeah, chickens are aggressive and eat meat.
Fucking claw through the chest, you're dead.
Yeah. I will give you a handgun with 6 bullets and a katana.
Yeesh. I mean, I might take that chance then.
I think I would.
If you give me those options, I would probably take the chance with 1 year for the human-sized chicken.
So here's my argument. With 1 year, you got prep time. You know what I mean?
You
can learn. You can work out. You can
work out. What are you gonna do?
Suplex the weak points are.
You're gonna suplex the chicken?
Hell yeah! I'll suplex an ostrich. Don't think I won't.
Okay.
But every time you get in your car, I have to go to work and then leave work. God forbid I want lunch that day, and I don't want to pack it.
Okay. Well, hey, look, you just gotta make some life choices. Okay. You get a stay-at-home job. Mm-hmm. You pack your lunch.
Work remote.
Yeah. That way you don't have to drive as much.
Move to Europe where they have a heavy bicycle culture.
Yeah. I mean, there's ways around this. Plus, yeah, I understand. Like, chickens are aggressive, but you just smack that thing. Back up. I'm trying to go to work. And they'd be like, oh, fuck, all right.
A gorilla-sized chicken.
A gorilla-sized chicken?
Or 5 chicken-sized gorillas.
Oh, my God. Oh. Hold up. A gorilla-sized chicken or 5 gorilla size of chickens, is what you said?
Yeah. One chicken the size of a gorilla, or 5 gorillas the size of chickens.
Dude, chimpanzees as a baby are fucking strong.
Yeah, chimpanzees terrify me. Chimpanzees are the ones who freak me out the most.
Oh, really? Yeah. So them as babies are pretty strong. But the size of a gorilla?
But they're actual gorillas. Like, they're meaty, strong boys. They're not like thin babies. They're like full-grown alpha chimps. But they're
No, I'm still picking the chicken. I'm picking the chicken. Reason being is because they could crawl on you, they could climb up on you and bite your limbs off. Like, they could bite your digits and like your ears and all that stuff. Nah, I ain't going for that. I'm not doing that. No thanks.
That's my nightmare, is getting eaten alive by chimpanzees.
That's your nightmare?
Congratulations, Internet. It's 2 episodes in and you found my deepest, darkest secret, fear.
Yeah. What are you choosing? You choosing the same thing?
Yeah, I think I go with the chicken.
Yeah, that's a smart move.
Make some tendies out of that boy. Fry them up real good.
Yeah. You could pack your freezer full, man.
That's right.
With that size of chicken, dude. Well, I think that's some good hot take to end it here.
All right. Well, we will wrap it for the week. We'll see you guys next week. This is going to be going up on Tuesday. We're filming this on the Thursday before. Thursday? What's today? Mm-hmm. Wednesday? Mm-hmm. Wednesday before. I'm going to be attending MagFest this year. So I will have some fun reports on that next podcast episode. And I guess in the meantime, stay nerdy.
Yep. So follow us on all our socials, Facebook, Instagram. We put all our podcasts up on Spotify or wherever you like to listen to your podcasts, wherever you like to listen to them, Apple Pod, Google Pod, they're all up there. All the video versions are up on YouTube, so feel free to go subscribe, hit the bell so you can get notifications that we're uploading, and also hit that like button and leave a comment to let us know what you liked or what you would want to hear.
Yeah, if you guys have any of these like fun scenarios you want to throw at us, we're happy to take them and be weird.
Just roll with it. Yeah.
Talk about that being mini chicken gorillas.
Yeah. So that being said, thank you all for joining us, and stay nerdy, my friends.
Stay nerdy.
Wow.